What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let us jump straight into today's biggest MMA updates. After UFC 325, the official rankings have been refreshed across several divisions, and there have been some major changes that caught a lot of attention. Alexander Volkanovski has now moved ahead of Alex Pereira in the pound-for-pound rankings, which is a huge statement following his latest performance. In the featherweight division, Lerone Murphy has climbed one position, continuing his steady rise among the top contenders. At lightweight, Benoit St. Denis has surged into the number 5 spot, while Mauricio Ruffi made one of the biggest jumps of all, moving up 5 places to land at number 9. In the heavyweight rankings, Tai Tuivasa has somehow managed to stay inside the top 15 despite recent struggles. Taliesin Teixeira also saw movement, jumping 4 places to sit at number 11. Meanwhile, Shavkat Rakhmonov has been removed from the welterweight rankings due to another knee injury, raising serious questions about when he will be able to return to competition. Before we move on, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to support the channel. Now shifting to another update, Lerone Murphy, who was originally scheduled to face Movsar Evloev at UFC London, recently gave his thoughts on the Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes fight at UFC 325. Speaking about the main event, Murphy said he watched the bout and felt the result was mostly expected. In his view, many fans already knew how the matchup would unfold once Volkanovski entered the cage. He did give credit to Diego Lopes, pointing out that Lopes made noticeable adjustments compared to his past performances. Murphy admitted that Lopes looked sharper and more improved, but he still felt that Volkanovski had full control of the fight. According to Murphy, Volkanovski looked composed and dominant, once again showing why he sits at the top of the division. Even though he respected the champion's performance, Murphy confessed that watching the fight was difficult on a personal level. He said it hurt because he strongly believed he should have been the one competing that night. Still, he reminded himself that a new opportunity is now in front of him, and it is time to focus forward. Murphy confidently stated that if he had been the one fighting Volkanovski at UFC 325, he believes he would have won. He made it clear that this opinion comes with no disrespect. He praised Volkanovski as a great fighter who holds the top spot for a reason. However, Murphy explained that while watching the fight, he noticed several moments where his own style and approach could have made a difference. Those observations only increased his confidence and motivation heading into his upcoming matchup with Movsar Evloev. He remains locked in and determined to prove that he belongs in the title picture. Moving on to more news, Sean O'Malley continues to be one of the biggest stars in the UFC and is widely viewed as one of the most dangerous strikers in the bantamweight division. Along with his MMA success, O'Malley also has experience in professional boxing, and that background has sparked his interest in the future of Zuffa boxing. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, he shared his thoughts on the new promotion and the possibility of returning to the boxing ring. O'Malley admitted he is very curious about where Zuffa boxing is headed. He has noticed the promotional push and believes the organization has real potential, especially if they are able to sign a true superstar. In his opinion, boxing needs someone who completely captures the attention of fans, a fighter people feel they must watch every time they compete. While he is unsure who that person will be, he made it clear that doubting Dana White is never a smart move and that the concept itself has serious upside. When discussing his own future, O'Malley did not hide his interest. He said he would genuinely love to transition into boxing at some point and take the sport more seriously. While a massive crossover fight like a fantasy matchup against Gervonta Davis sounds exciting, he stressed that he does not need something that big right away. For him, the appeal is about the journey rather than instant fame. O'Malley explained that he is currently 1-0 as a boxer and would rather build slowly and smartly. He talked about facing opponents with similar records, fighters who are 3-0, 4-0, or even 5-0, so he can grow naturally in the sport. He emphasized that money is not the main motivation. While he expects fair pay, he's not chasing huge paydays or demanding millions. Instead, he would be comfortable earning a few $100,000 while focusing on gaining real boxing experience. He also believes his striking style would translate very well to boxing. The movement, timing, and creativity that define his UFC career could make the transition both effective and enjoyable. For O'Malley, competing under the Zuffa boxing banner is not about ego or hype. It is about challenging himself in a new arena and keeping his passion for fighting alive. Now to heavyweight news. Tai Tuivasa has finally spoken out after suffering his 6th straight loss. At UFC, the heavyweight contender made one thing clear: he is not quitting. In an emotional message on social media, Tuivasa said he has no plans to walk away and remains fully committed to continuing his UFC career despite the setback. He admitted the loss hurt deeply, saying it damaged him emotionally more than any punch ever could. Tuivasa explained that he truly gave everything he had a strong training camp, and is already looking ahead to returning to camp with his team. He acknowledged there is still a lot of work to be done, but made sure to thank everyone who continues to support him, especially the Australian fans who never stop believing in him. He also apologized to those supporters for falling short once again. Tuivasa shared a more personal side of the experience, speaking about his son watching him go through these difficult moments. He said it is hard knowing his child has seen him lose more times than he would like, but he always teaches him that giving your best and continuing to try is what truly matters. As long as he keeps fighting, Tuivasa promised he will keep pushing forward, no matter how tough things become. He reflected on the time they spent together during fight week, showing his son different parts of life and competition, even though the result was not what they hoped for. He said this is simply how life goes sometimes, and expressed hope that he can take the losses so his family does not have to. He thanked everyone who helped him throughout camp, and showed appreciation to his partner for standing by him through everything. To end his message, Tuivasa tagged Khamzat Chimaev and jokingly asked for wrestling lessons, saying he is tired of getting stuck in grappling situations. Despite the defeat, his message was clear. He is hurting, but he is far from finished. Next, there has been growing talk about a potential super fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, a matchup many believe could become one of the biggest in UFC history. The idea of these two champions facing each other has sparked heavy debate across the MMA world, and now Jorge Masvidal has added fuel to the discussion. Speaking on his podcast, Masvidal said that defeating Islam Makhachev would elevate Ilia into an entirely different level of greatness. He pointed out that no fighter in UFC history has ever won 3 belts, and even attempting something like that places Ilia in rare territory. Masvidal explained that moving up to welterweight to fight Islam would already be an enormous challenge, but if Ilia were able to succeed, there would be no argument left. In his view, Ilia would belong in a category of his own, beyond comparisons to legends like John Jones or George St. Pierre. Masvidal added that not all multi-division champions are the same. There's a major difference between winning belts and truly defeating the best fighters in their prime. He emphasized that legacy is built by beating dangerous opponents at the height of their powers. He highlighted Ilia's wins over Volkanovski and Max Holloway, finishing both of them decisively, and then moving up to defeat Charles Oliveira as well. According to Masvidal, that sequence alone already forces people to rethink what kind of fighter Ilia really is. The discussion becomes even more extreme when considering a move to 70 pounds. Masvidal said that stepping up to face the #1 pound-for-pound fighter, someone who has dominated for several years straight, would be unheard of. He described Islam as a fighter who breaks down elite opponents and submits them with ease. If Ilia were to overcome that challenge, Masvidal believes he would no longer be judged by normal standards and would become a mythical figure in MMA history. Turning to middleweight news, Robert Whittaker is aiming for a return to the octagon in June 2026 and is seriously considering a move up to light heavyweight. The former champion revealed that his weight between camps is around 5 pounds, which has strengthened the idea that staying at 5 may no longer be worth the struggle. At 35 years old, Whittaker has spent over a decade competing at the highest level in the middleweight division. He admitted that cutting down to 85 has become increasingly difficult and that his last few weight cuts were especially brutal. While many fans label him as a small middleweight, Whittaker pushed back on that idea. He explained that although he may be shorter, he is still a big athlete overall and that many middleweights are already taller than him. He emphasized how exhausting and draining the weight-cutting process has become. Outside of camp, his natural weight sits around 5 pounds, which has made the idea of fighting at 5 far more appealing both physically and mentally. He said the thought of competing without extreme dieting sounds like a dream. When discussing the light heavyweight division, Whittaker said it feels wide open and that there are many exciting matchups available. He believes his skill set could hold up well against top contenders. While no specific opponents have been named, he hinted that discussions are already happening and that meetings in Las Vegas are planned to explore the possibility further. He also revealed that his recent break was about more than rest. It was a time to reflect on whether he still wanted to put his body through brutal middleweight camps. By the end of those camps, he feels drained and weak, and during fight week, he is barely eating just to make weight. That process has taken much of the joy out of competing. Nothing is official yet, but Whittaker sounds genuinely open to change, and a move to light heavyweight could represent a fresh chapter in his career. Now with the UFC's new partnership with Paramount, fans have begun speculating about whether fighter pay could finally see a meaningful increase. After the latest event, Estimated payouts were released based on base pay, sponsorships, and possible bonuses. While these numbers are not official, they provide an interesting look at what top fighters may be earning. Reports suggest that Alexander Volkanovski could earn between $1.6 and $2.5 million, reflecting his champion status and star power. Diego Lopes is projected to make between $600,000 and $900,000, showing his growing profile. Dan Hooker is estimated to earn between $400,000 and $600,000, while Benoit St. Denis is expected to make slightly less, with the possibility of a bonus closing that gap. Rafael Fiziev, as projected earnings fall between $200,000 and $400,000, and Tai Tuivasa is expected to earn between $300,000 and $500,000, reflecting both his popularity and his long tenure with the promotion. Next, following his win over Arnold Allen at UFC 324, Jean Silva has made it clear that he is pushing for a title fight against Alexander Volkanovski. Riding the momentum of his victory, Silva posted a clip on social media in which Israel Adesanya suggested that Silva versus Volkanovski is the fight to make next. In the clip, Adesanya said that if Silva wins and Volkanovski wins, then that matchup should happen, even if it means contenders like Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy get passed over again. He added that this is simply how the business works, even if it feels unfair. The discussion quickly gained traction and put pressure on the featherweight title picture. However, Volkanovski responded quickly. In a video of his own, he addressed the growing talk around a potential matchup. While remaining respectful, his message was clear. Jean Silva is not currently in position for a title shot. Volkanovski explained that much of the noise seems driven by attention and momentum. He said Silva is likely trying to build his name, and he does not take it personally. Volkanovski also shared that he has met Silva before and described him as a respectful and decent person. He addressed speculation that Silva might be frustrated about the Mauricio Rufy situation, but said he was unsure whether that was real or taken out of context. Volkanovski noted that Silva has recently been suggesting he deserves the next title fight, and that is where he disagrees. While he is known for fighting anyone the UFC puts in front of him, he stressed that this matchup is unlikely right now. With Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev set to fight soon, he believes the contender picture is already clear and that those fighters are much closer to earning a title shot. For now, Silva, as call-out, has created buzz, but Volkanovski, as response, suggests more wins and patience will be required. In the same video, Volkanovski also addressed a moment from his fight with Diego Lopes at UFC 320 and offered a lighthearted apology. He explained that during the exchange, he genuinely did not realize his positioning. He believed he was sitting on Lopes' chest, which is why he was throwing punches backward. According to Volkanovski, everything felt strange because the strikes were not landing where he expected. It was only afterward that he realized what had really happened. He had been sitting directly on Diego Lopes' face. That realization explained why the position felt so awkward. Volkanovski said it was completely unintentional and apologized directly to Lopes. He made it clear there was no disrespect involved and that it was simply one of those chaotic moments. That can happen during high-level grappling exchanges. That is it for today. MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for your daily dose of MMA.